Right now, I'm going to cover the absurdity of the war that the U.S. and Israel started with Iran, how this hurts the American people, economically diminishes the prospects of the dwindling middle class and also the growing lower income brackets, and how it exposes the fraudulent nature of many of Trump's campaign promises. In fact, the Democrats could not have asked for a better person to do their campaigning for them for the midterms. And as you know, this incursion into Iran started about a month ago. And I think, despite the confident posture of the U.S., the reality is that somebody in the decision making department that was allowed this to go through underestimated the capabilities and also the resolve of the Iranians, and they expected this to just be, well, at least that's how it appears, they expected it to be another couple days long regime change banana republic thing where they go in and accomplish whatever objective and then declare victory, put in a new leader of their choosing, and then leave. But what happened here was that the resistance to the incursion was much stronger than expected. And we've had for about a year the whole taco Trump move. Trump always chickens out, and he was expecting that to work this time. And mainly it has to do with the financial markets, because that's the mechanism that himself and also a lot of the politicians in Washington use to enrich themselves and their families by engaging in all kinds of insider trading and front running the markets and front running the prices of oil and other commodities, gold and silver, the S&P, the Dow, all these things. They have foreknowledge of these events, so they front run them and make tens of millions of dollars overnight. That's one of the things that for sure the office of the president cares about, is the stock market. So when he saw the negative effects of this war and that the uncertainty of it being prolonged and being a much more um, bloody conflict and drawn out than they had expected was being priced into the market. So he tried to do the taco, which is saying, "Hey, actually, we're in negotiations with Iran," and but then the Iranians and the market also called his bluff, because the Iranians said, "No, we're not. We're not in talks with you," and then the markets resumed their downward slog. And there was an interesting piece of propaganda that I saw in one of the media headlines, which is actually instructive as to how headlines are used to invert the truth and spin perception, because it said something to the effect of Iran takes hardline stance amid U.S. attempts to broker a peace deal, or something absurd to that effect. So completely just ignoring the fact that the U.S. started the war in the first place, right? So then again, the mechanism of a headline like this is to make the aggressor into the victim suddenly, right? The aggressor who started the war, the U.S., is now the victim who's trying to end the war. Absolutely insane. It's like George Orwell 1984 levels of inversion and absurdity is what it is. But people are seeing this. Trump is losing his base. People are realizing that this is no longer a partisan issue and cataclysm that we are entering in this country. Thank God we're still allowed to speak about it, because other than that, the outlook is very bleak. They're putting Marines on the ground, the 82nd Airborne, and I mean, Iran has been preparing for this for a long time, and I mean, people could complain, oh well, this is another war without congressional approval, but unfortunately, many of the seemingly countless wars of the past decades have been without congressional approval. So I think there's other things about this that you can pick apart as completely asinine, more so than the fact that there wasn't congressional approval, because that's not a new precedent that has been set, unfortunately. For example, just the miscalculation of who the enemy would be, and what kind of resolve that they would have to fight the U.S. And there's those that argue, oh, it's I think the whole 4D chess garbage is out the window as far as, oh, he's exposing the deep state and this. I mean, that fell flat on its face a long time ago, because he's obviously the corruption in the government has not had a better friend than someone like Trump in a very long time. I mean, he is absolutely just freight training the inevitable decline of the U.S. empire. I mean, all the way from the surveillance state to again, completely breaking his campaign promises. He bragged on the Democrats as being warmongers. Are you kidding me? He started more wars in the last year than Joe Biden did, or Obama for that matter. I mean, they were involved in things in the Middle East, but I mean, this is just the second incursion into Iran in the span of less than 1 year. It's absolutely out of control. But going back to the late stage decline of an empire, I mean, these are all the symptoms, right? And when something like the markets and speculation and gambling becomes at the forefront of geopolitical decisions, these are the signs of a late stage degenerate empire where it's being looted by essentially an oligarchy from the top down, including the DC politicians on both sides of the aisle, while the rest of it is just left to disintegrate, right? And let people continue to think that this is a partisan issue, right? I mentioned the thing about him handing a victory to the Democrats just because that's instructive about how disastrous the Republican policy is right now. But again, make no mistake that they're both serving the same master. And so yeah, this is not good what's happening. And I kind of sat and did research and have watched it for about a month, and then I said, you know what, it's time to talk a little bit about this. And I had a song I wrote 2 years ago called Foreign Wars, and it's going on an album that I'm actually in the process of recording as we speak. And a friend of mine said, wow, I can't believe you came up with that way before this happened. That was prescient. And I'm thinking, well, it's really no different than what's been going on for decades now. It's just unfortunate that the very one who made such vehement promises to stop this cycle of aggression against countries halfway across the world, while the internal infrastructure and culture and society rots. It's just unfortunate that that he had to be the one to bring us even more foreign wars. But that song will be on the album, and yeah, there's a live version from a couple years ago that I actually did upload to this YouTube channel. But the new one will be recorded in higher quality, and hopefully I'll do an even better job singing it, but singing and playing. But anyway, that's it for today, and I'll see you in the next one.